I tell you I was on my mind? Can I get a couple of things off my chest?
It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son as your kinfolk, William Jewell. Listen to my detail as I'm articulating. This is articulating rap. And today I just finished kickboxing. I was a little sweaty. Right, I had my hand wraps on. I was unwinding them. I was going through my messages, going through, see if I had any missed calls, and my wife texted me. A friend texted me. The group chat was buzzing. They was talking about, have you heard Euphoria? And they told me it was a Kendrick Lamar response to Drake. I was thinking, could this really be? Could my dreams be answered? Could this be a dream come true? Did a genie grant my wish? Did Kendrick Lamar really respond? And by the grace of God, it was a blessing. By the grace of God, it was a miracle. Kendrick Lamar responded, and it was current. It wasn't a diss from 4 years ago. Kendrick Lamar is now back in the chat. Right, he's now back in the race. A lot of people thought he fell back. A lot of people thought he went into his hole, climbed into his shell, and was going to lay dormant and was going to hibernate. But he is alive and he's well, and his star is shining brighter than ever. Right, and Drake was shining bright the last couple of weeks. He dropped push-ups. He did tailor-made freestyle using the AI of Tupac and Snoop Dogg. He was pestering Kendrick. He was meddling, instigating. He was trying to get a response. He was begging. And some said he was spiraling, and we got the response. We got the response. Drake, aren't you happy we got the response? Right. And I know it's mixed feelings because, as I said before, this is a war against fan bases, right? So if people don't like Kendrick, or if people like Drake more, they're going to automatically side with Drake, vice versa. And so it's hard not to get caught up in between because the emotion is in it. Right, because the music gets in your spirit. So when it comes to one of your favorite artists, it comes to the music that you love. If that gets in your spirit, if that gets in your soul, and it soaks and it absorbs, your emotions will be in the mix. Correct? So I believe there's a lot of emotions involved by the different fan bases. Right? And I was seeing somewhere where somebody said, is it commerce versus culture? Right? Is it money? Is it the material things? Is it the big mansions, as him and Rick Ross argued about? Right? Is it the jewelry? Is it the women? Is it the commerce? Right? Is the money, the value of money, more than the value of the culture, more than the value of your self-respect, more than the value of your dignity, your integrity, more than the value of your soul? Because when they say he sold out, when they say he sold his soul to the devil, they saying he gave himself to the industry. He gave himself to the money. And money is the root of all evil, and it will destroy. But if we can preserve our culture, if we can preserve our community, if we can preserve some trust, if we can preserve some of the bonds, if we can continue to cultivate some of our talent, some of our gifts, some of our ability, just imagine what we could do. So are you for the commerce? Or are you for the culture? Those are the two different fan bases that we're talking about. Are you for the industry or the authenticity? Are you for the look, the rapper chain, the flashy car? Are you for the numbers on Spotify, on Apple? Are you for the numbers on YouTube, on social media? Right? Are you into the industry, the machines? Are you into the industry, the pop, the commercial? Are you into the industry? Are you always trying to be politically correct, or are you authentic? Right? Are you scared to speak your mind? Are you scared to say how you feel? Are you scared to get these things off of your chest? Are you scared to lay your burdens down by the riverside? Right? Are you authentic? Are you going to show up as your true self? And that's the fan bases, the industry, the authenticity. I just feel like Drake represents that side. Right? He's shown his vulnerability with the women. He's shown that he's softer, that he's sensitive than the average man. I get that. But I think Kendrick has shown his vulnerability too as well. Or did you not listen to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers? Did you not listen to right? Did you not listen to Alright? Did you not listen to these type of songs? I just promise that you will sing about me dying of thirst. Shireen, do you remember these songs? Fuck your ethnicity. Right? And, the lover versus the thinker versus the conscious mind. It's just continuing back and forth, right? Drake versus Kendrick. It's a war between the fan bases. And I belong to God. I'm God's child, as Cat Williams said, because we know Cat Williams kicked off this year, right? And I'm not trying to be on the right side or the wrong side. I'm just trying to win. I'm just trying to be with God. I'm just trying to elevate when my time is up. You know what I'm saying? So when we talking about the diss summary, right? Because I'm not going to play the song. I don't have the song. I don't got all the equipment. So I've been listening to it, really like picking it apart, really trying to dissect it. So no, I don't have the song and be able to play it and dissect it when I play each bar or each line. But I feel like a summary is needed. A summary will be a lot more appreciated because we can get down to the nitty gritty a lot quicker. And I promise I won't take long. Right? Because Kendrick is basically telling Drake he's not genuine. He's not authentic, right? He's industry. He's all for show. He's all for entertainment. He's a master manipulator. He's all about these antics, right? And I feel like that was one of the biggest messages that Kendrick displayed in this diss track. And when we talk about the Future and Metro beef, that's manipulation, right? When we talk about scam artists, right? When he had friendships with Ross, when he had friendships with, those guys, and they didn't survive. They didn't stay strong. So the master manipulator, he's basically saying, like, he's a con artist. Like, we can't trust his word. And I feel like, Drake is the number one guy. Drake is the guy on top. He's the guy with the numbers. He's the guy everybody's looking to take down, right? And the fans are victimizing him, but I don't feel like he's a victim. I feel like he's been sending shots this whole time. And that's why we're talking about the master manipulator. That's why we're talking about the scam artist, the con artist, right? That's what we're talking about, these strategies, these antics. So Drake has been doing this whole time, and it's basically bubbled over. It's finally come to a head. And people are calling it out. People are calling bullshit on the way he move and the way he act. It was good for your face. Right? When he got on Her Loss and he was rapping like he was a thug, like he was a gangster. Right? Just because he's standing next to 21 Savage. Just because he's standing next to Jay Prince. I mean, we got to call Cap. We got to call it what it is. And that's what they're saying. And this is why they're saying it. Is he getting in a girl's DM? Right? Probably so. Is he trying to fuck somebody, baby mama, wife, or just a girl they like? Probably so. That's the antics. That's what Drake does. He's manipulating people for his benefit, for his best interest. Four Bats, he's master manipulator. Party Next Door, The Weeknd. These people that was under his wing, they finally see him for what he is, the master manipulator. I feel like that's what he's saying. I feel like that's what we can point to. And I feel like it might be an opinion, it might be a fact, or maybe they can just feel jealous. Maybe they could hate Drake because of what he's doing and the height he's doing it at. Maybe they weren't really his friends. Maybe he was always genuine with them and they were holding their hand, hiding their hand. Right? I get it. But this is what Kendrick is saying about Drake. And, you know, when we talk about the news, we talk about the current events. Everybody else been saying this about Drake. The word nigga. Right? The word nigga. When he said the word nigga, like Ross put it in the story when they was beefing. And it just didn't come off right. They talk about Logic. They talk about these mixed artists, right, that really look white or that really play both sides of the fence, and they don't really choose the side, you know, that they're going to belong to. And they have their right. They're biracial. They have the ability to be proud of both heritages. But when we see a mixed guy like J. Cole, we consider him black. He considers himself black. Like, we don't even think he's mixed. Look at him. You know what I'm saying? So some people are authentic about, you know, claiming and belonging to that one side. And I feel like Drake has the advantage to play to both sides. But sometimes when you know, you go somewhere else and you come back, you don't sound like you did when you left. And you're not acting how you did when you left. So I think that's just what it boils down to. Pusha T is the loss that Drake cannot escape. And you can feel the spirit of him in Kendrick, but a bit more respectful, because this is really like a playful tone. Kendrick is going hard. He's spazzing. He's going ham. He's giving energy. He really giving it his all. You could tell he's sweating in this booth. They done changed the beat up about 3 different times. You could tell he's giving it his all. Right? And the hypocrisy of the record labels. He's pointing out what Pusha T said. Right? That's Terrence Thorne. I'm Terrence Crawford. I'm whipping feet. Right? He's pointing out you were signed to a nigga that was signed to a nigga that was signed to that nigga. Like, we can put the percentages together because that's what Drake was trying to make push-ups all about. Top said, drop and give me 50% of your publishing. I've already said it before. He was talking about the splits. He was talking about this man split his pants. Right? And then y'all saying Kendrick can't rap. But yes, it's a hypocrisy. I've said it all along. It's okay that you're saying this, Drake. I get it, but it's contradictory. It's hypocrisy. Like, you can point the finger back at you. That's why your disses or some of the diss verses or lines that you've had, it just didn't hit like that to me, because we knew it was cap, or we knew that was just contradicting the position that you're in. And he also talked about the shortcomings as of a father. He talked about Drake's inability to basically spend quality time with his son. Because I don't know the custody situation between Drake and his baby mama, but Drake is not married. He's a bachelor and he's touring. So obviously we can concoct that he's not spending the time with his son. While Kendrick is married, a married guy most likely is going to bring his family with him on tour, is going to stay with his family, right? And he's basically saying he's cultivating this bond with his son. He's getting to spend this quality time with his son. He's getting to teach him discipline. He's getting to teach him how to pray. He's getting to teach him all of these things about integrity, about morals, about structure, right? And when you know your son is living with someone else, you don't know what's being taught to him. And the mother's a porn star. Like, I hate to bring it up, but it's the truth. So this is what Kendrick is diving in. And I feel like he's taking the spirit of Pusha T with him. He's also channeling the inner Ross, the BBL Drizzy take. Because he said your core audience can't stomach that. Tell them where you got your abs at. Right? Tell them where you got your body done, where you got the liposuction at. The BBL Drizzy. He's channeling that inner Ross. So, hey, Kendrick is going in, but he's being respectful. He's really being respectful, and he's showing respect because he did say he liked the melody Drake. He liked the singing Drake. Take Her Drake. Right? The second side of Scorpion Drake. So Kendrick is showing like, I like your melodies. I like the back-to-back record. Right? And then he also acknowledging him, Cole, and Drake as the three GOATs, as the big three. So you can say that's contradicting as well because he said, fuck the big three, it's Big Me. But in this song, he's actually acknowledging those three as the three GOATs. Also, while making fun that they were kissing and hugging on stage, but he did acknowledge it. So I could point that out, you know, and a lot of people point out that he said that Drake doesn't have a classic, and a lot of people believe Take Care is a classic, Nothing Was the Same is a classic. And when I look at that Nothing Was the Same track list, and that's actually the last Drake album I bought, I can't help but agree. So I believe Drake has some classics. Take Care, that's not my favorite Drake album, but I believe Drake has some classics. Right? And he further examines Drake and his disdain for women. Right? Because you know Megan came at him because he said something about Megan Thee Stallion on her loss. He was dropping lines, dropping subs. So like when you talking about a woman, like a woman just assumes that you don't like them, you hate them, you just want them for your consumption. You just want them like a piece of meat, but you don't really like them. You don't like the woman. You competing with the woman, right? And it just boils down back to that BBL line, the sexy red, right? You clapping cheeks, you trying to be with her like you trying to be another bad bitch. It goes back to that line. So, I mean, this is what Kendrick is poking at, right? And it's funny, right? Because Ross talked about it, but this was something to laugh about. I believe the one that is going to hurt the most is the fatherhood line, right? That's the one going to hurt the most because I feel like if Drake really look within, I think he can respect that. And maybe we don't know what happens with him and his son behind the scenes. He had them on the album, but that don't really mean nothing. But the fact that we don't always see them together taking pictures all the time, that don't mean nothing either. But right. So he's just taking shots at the choices of women that Drake chooses to surround himself by. And in summary, I think Drake will respond. Right? I think he will try to respond, but I just don't really see him having a clear-cut open. Right? And like, unless Drake is going to use the way of, all right, you said, Kendrick, you're saying what everybody else said about me. You're not doing nothing but repeating what they said, and it's getting boring. Say something different. Tell me something I don't know. Right? And I could get Drake coming at that angle. I feel like that's the best angle he can come at with now, unless he has dirt on Kendrick. Or unless he has more short man, small feet jokes. Because you know he haven't ran out of them on none of those last two diss tracks. And I also don't think it can continue to go back and forth without getting personal. Eventually, to one up the other person, you're going to have to go there. So we'll see how they keep it. We'll see if they can keep it playful, jovial, you know what I'm saying? And just in the spirit of competition versus in the spirit of trying to really just tear each other down. But he did say, I hate the way that you talk. I hate the way, like, damn. He said he hate the dude. And hate is a strong word, but I think it's more of a roast. I think it's more of poking fun. Boy, I hate them jeans you got on. I hate that baconet collar shirt you got on, boy. I hate them dirty ass white Air Forces you got on. Like, I think that's like a joke. I don't think he hates the man, but they say he's taking or referencing DMX in that Breakfast Club clip. So, man, they dissecting it as we speak. It's still some more things that Kendrick probably said that we don't know about. But I feel like those were the main points that stuck out to me. And if I forgot something, charge it to my head, not my heart. But I hope we get a Kendrick album out of this. I hope he drops something. I hope Drake drops something because I can see Drake responding. And then hopefully if Kendrick responds, it's basically to, you know, roll out his album. And then from there, I feel like Drake can respond later with an album roll out. And if he do roll out another album, if Drake does another album this year with all this beef going on, he gonna have to rap. Right? He's not gonna be able to R&B his way, pop his way, or do the playlist way out of this. He gonna have to rap, so he's gonna be more inspired. And I want Drake to be inspired. That's what the real hip hop fans want. I want Drake to drop some good music and give us some more bars and just continue to be creative. I think this is what is going to happen, because just the fact that Taylor made freestyle, Drake came at Kendrick being creative, going AI, using Pac, Snoop, and then using the Eminem concept. I believe, shit, who else would inspire Drake to do something like that? We got to give Kendrick credit for that. So not only do we got to give him credit for like that, for helping blow Metro and Future up, for helping him blow a little bit of Drake up, a little bit of Ross up. Of course, Drake is the mule. He's the main star in all of it. But I think Kendrick, when he dropped that line, it really blew things up, and everybody's able to eat. Everybody's getting a slice of the pie because of like that, because of the impact of like that. So we still don't trust you. So those are just my takes, right? I know a lot of people was trying to figure out, what I thought about it. And I don't know if you're going to think I'm biased because I said what I said, but I feel like Kendrick, he did what he was supposed to do. At the end of the day, he responded to everything Drake said about him and then put a little bit more extra sauce on it. Same thing Drake did on push-ups. He responded to the things that Metro and Kendrick was saying about him. He responded. So I think Drake, I got love for Drake. You know what I'm saying? I got love for Drake. I know Drake has made his mistakes in the past. I know Drake has looked crazy in the past. He's done some things he wish he could take back in the past. But I have light-skinned friends. Right? And I love my bros. I have mixed friends, and I love my bros and sis. But, this is just the art of war. This is just the competition. This is just the process of elimination of one wanting to be number one and one feeling like he is number one. So, this is just what happens when men get together and their egos and their pride get in the room. And Drake is not a victim of it, because I believe Drake is responsible for some of it as well. Because he spoke about the first person shooter. That's one thing I forgot. He spoke about the first person shooter. They requested him to be on the feature. So the fact that he said that this is true in this song, it lets us know. It lets us know that, yes, this has been brewing. Like Drake said, this has been going on. So when they did first person shooter, it was a whole bunch of subs that Kendrick could hear. So why not get on like that and fire back? First person shooter, I hope that came with 3 switches. So why not fire back? And so that's one thing that I got to address. And he said he tried to send a cease and desist for the Like That record. He tried to get the Like That record out. And the Like That record was a number 1 record for 3 weeks. I think First Person Shooter only stayed number 1 for 1 week. So, damn, I feel like it's long-winded. I'm talking about this. I'm going long about it. I'm passionate about it. Hip-hop, I love it. I'm trying to stay, even killed. Only because when we talk about the fan bases, but when we dive deeper and go to the culture versus the commerce, the deep versus the shallow, I'm guilty of being in the deep end. I'm guilty of being an independent thinker. I'm guilty of seeing things in a different perspective, right? I'm guilty of wanting to get out of the club early, right? I'm guilty of taking care of my health, my body in a weight room so I don't have to feel like I need to get surgery or do anything drastic to make myself feel secure. I'm in that deep end, fam. And I can't help it. And so it's not about me siding with Kendrick, or it's not about me shaming Drake. It's just about how I look at life and I see how men act and how they carry themselves. And some of it I agree with and some of it I don't. And even in the music, like there's things that touches my soul, that touches my spirit. Look what you've done for me. Yeah. Like that was that song in college that Drake made that really just lifted me up because my mama was really doing all she could to help me get through that. Right? So I related to that. But some of this other stuff, it's hard to relate to. Right? It's hard to relate to as a grown man, having a son, having a wife. Right? It's hard. And when you're educated, when you're knowledgeable, when you're wise, when you're experienced, you see things differently, right? So, man, peace and blessings to both of these brothers. Because I want to hear good music come from this. I love hip hop. This is your kinfolk William Jewell. Giving you my detail as I'm articulating. This is articulating. Rap, rap, rap.